And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number 57. We're going to be on today with Yoko Kowaas and Sean Sutton of JKDUnlimited in Cincinatti. So I've sent out the request, and they should be logging on in a second, and we'll get the show on the road. So while we're waiting for them, hey, Rick Brochere, the real Rick Brochere, Steve Corley, how you doing? Let's see what's going on in the world of. Okay, here we go. On top of the technology, you're third here. Well, I'm pretty sure that Yoko is like top notch on the technology. Sean Sutton, I don't know. He might not. Right? Okay. So
didn't hear
say
you.
something. Let me see if I can hear you guys all right.
Can you hear us?
Just barely. Do you have a volume switch? And then I'll do my headphone thing. It looks fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay. All right. Then let me just set up my headphones. All right. Hey, Pierre, can you hear me okay? Somebody tell me something. All right. You guys got to scrunch together more.
All right, here we go.
So how come she looks so good and you look so bad?
That's just genetics, I guess.
Okay. So listen, are the two of you old enough to get the John Lennon coincidence?
The John Lennon. Oh, that her name is Yoko.
Right.
Yeah.
And doesn't he have a son named Sean?
Yeah, Sean Lennon.
That's.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, so that was my first attempt at humor here. All right. So how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Very good. Listen, I wanted to start at the beginning with history. So Yoko, you go first. How did you get started in this thing?
In MMA or just in general?
Well, where did you start? What did you start with first?
I actually started at a title boxing class. I just wanted to go self-defense, and then I started to learn Muay Thai and Taekwondo, and then was kind of drawn to mixed martial arts, and then a UFC gym opened up nearby, and that's kind of how it all started.
Okay. And how did you end up with this guy?
He was teaching at the UFC gym.
Oh, I didn't know about that part. Tell me about that then, Sean.
Yeah, so I started training a long time ago in Taekwondo when I was a little kid, and then I eventually came to a JKD school here in Cincinnati, which is called the Reed Academy, with Charles, and it's a JKD concept school. He's a full instructor, Dan Inosanto.
Yep.
And I went into the Marine Corps, and that took me to Hawaii, where I met Burton Richardson, and that's where I became a JKDUnlimited instructor, and I came back to open my own school here. And when I came back here, the UFC gym contacted me because they knew that I was running classes nearby, and they asked me to run their advanced MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes. So I came and I was doing that part-time while I ran my own school, and that's where we met.
Are you older than you look?
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 33.
Okay.
I'm older
Yeah.
than he is.
What?
I'm 33 as well.
Oh my God. Oh, geez. right, I gotta move to Cincinnati and get some of that because man, you guys look good. All right, so when did you start competing? Because I saw shots of you as a white belt in jiu-jitsu competition, Yoko. Is it right?
Yes.
Like 3 years ago or something?
A little over 4 years now. I think it'll be 5 in November, I believe. Yes.
All right. So you look like a regular person, but you're actually crazy, right?
Huh? I mean, pretty regular. They come, I think.
Okay. Give me an idea of your daily schedule, and I'll prove to you that you're not normal.
I get up, I go to work, and then I eat real fast, and then I go train. And then I go to sleep.
I saw when I was doing the research on you, I saw a thing for, how do you pronounce it? Machina gear, or what have you, the fight gear for women.
Oh, Machina Boxing?
Yeah.
I'm not
Is that your company?
No.
Oh.
I think they had sent me some boxing gloves at one point,
Okay.
a long time ago, a couple years ago. They're made for women, so they're a little bit smaller and they fit around my hands. They were really nice.
Yeah. Okay. And Burton Richardson told me you just won a championship fight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the belt is actually right here.
Okay. So tell me what championship it is, because this stuff is all brand new to me.
It was for Premier MMA, so it was for the strawweight title.
Which is 115 pounds, so it's women's strawweight.
All right. And I saw something else in doing the research. So there's somebody fighting Mama something in May. Somebody named Sutton. Is that you?
That's not me. That's actually my brother.
Okay.
My brother is also a fighter, trains with us, and he is fighting in Premier MMA for the lightweight male championship at the same promotion.
I got it. Okay. All right. So you guys spend a lot of time. How do you prioritize how much time you're going to be spending in what aspect? I mean, training self-defense versus training for competition and what have you. How do you break that down?
So our classes, my main focus is, and this is probably not going to shock you since you know Burton Richardson, my main focus is self-defense when I'm teaching class, but very close and probably equal to that is functional training. So even our self-defense training is for actual fighting. You know, there's sparring involved, the whole thing. So pretty much everyone that's ever competed for me goes to our regular class where we do regular, what you'd expect in a JKD class, self-defense, single time. We're dealing with, strikes to all targets, weapons coming out at least once per class, at least.
Right.
And then after is when we start our training camp. And then that's when we do specifically MMA type of situations where you're starting on either side. There's a person in the middle. They say, "Are you ready?" Boom, the bell goes, and you go and you perform under those rules. During sparring, they pretty much just try to stay with MMA rules if they're actively preparing for an MMA fight, and then in between fights, they're doing, groin kicks and all that.
Yoko, are you fighting then? No gi, kickboxing, Muay Thai, everything?
We train in it, yes. But I compete in gi and no gi in jiu-jitsu, and then MMA.
Okay. And what's the dream with that? How far is this going to go?
As far as it can take me.
Yeah. So as people who are substantially younger than I am, right? Tell me about the aspects of Jeet Kune Do that are important to like your generation.
Oh, I'll start. The thing that really drew me to it is the functionality. So,
Okay.
I read the Tao of Jeet Kune Do when I was, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something. Very, very young. I might have put that a little bit earlier than it was, but memory's imperfect. And what really struck me was, I'm going to butcher the quote, but he was talking about, Bruce was talking about sparring. And, if you want to learn how to swim, you got to get in the water. And if you want to learn how to do Jeet Kune Do, then you have to spar. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And, he was really talking about, the simplicity of movement and not focusing on, getting into, the jump, like multiple spins, although I do spinning kicks sometimes, but, just not getting enamored with those sort of fanciful looking techniques and really focus on what works and what works under extreme pressure. And that's the main thing that draws me to JKD.
What about you, Yoko?
I would say the same thing, but also what I love about Jeet Kune Do is it allows me to express myself. Everybody has different strengths, and I feel like because JKD isn't a style, it has allowed me to find what has worked for me and to test that. And so that's instead of just sticking to one thing.
Okay, I like her answers better than yours. I'm just going to keep talking to her.
Okay.
Do you have a role model for your efforts in martial art competition?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
I love.
Throw out some names and let me see if I know who the heck you're talking about.
What was that?
Throw out some names. Let me see if I know who you're talking about.
Angela Lee, Michelle Watterson. I like Mighty Mouse, Daniel Cormier. Everybody in JKD, honestly, not to sound, mushy or anything, but everybody I think that I get to see every day that walks the doors and trains. I've watched people overcome things here, come in on their first day, not knowing anyone, just go in there and start training. And I think that, everybody that I've been able to work with here and on our team has been a role model to me in some way.
Can you remember what your first day was like?
Yeah, it was scary. Jiu-jitsu, because I'd never done anything like it, and we were just, the classes were in the octagon. So, I didn't know anybody, and I was just walking into this octagon with a bunch of people I didn't know. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to try MMA. I was really nervous, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
So then it comes with 100% recommendation from you for young women.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. When's your next fight?
I don't know yet. Just wait.
Okay.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, just to give you some information about that, on her last fight, in the post-fight interview, she asked to go pro. She asked for a professional contract because she's amateur right now. So for a professional fight, you have to find somebody who's your similar skill level so you can debut. And then you have to find a promoter that's willing to make that happen. And we have one. His name's Billy Donovan. He runs Premier MMA. And he's going to allow her to go pro in his promotion. And then you have to get approved by the commission. We fight in Kentucky. So the person who runs the commission there is Todd Neal, and he also approved it. So now we're just waiting for that second.
What is the deal with, because everything I saw was in Covington, Kentucky, right? So you guys don't fight in Ohio?
Not really, no.
I mean,
a lot of promotions that are, Covington's actually really close to Cincinnati. I don't know if you know about the geography here, but Covington.
I was going to look it up. I figured as much, but I didn't have a chance to.
Yeah, Covington's the city right across the Ohio River from Cincinnati, so it's pretty close. Okay. And all of the other promotions are like in Cleveland, which is about a state away. And then the rules in Ohio are pretty prohibitive, and of course, people, so the least amount of rules, the better.
Right, yeah, okay. So, so the town or the city of Covington is pretty well known in the news. What's Cincinnati known for?
Well, let me say something that's not going to get us in trouble here. So we have a football team you might have heard of them. They're the Bengals. They're a team. I don't know if they win a whole lot, but they are a team. Then we have the Cincinnati Reds. We have a football club, Cincinnati FC. That's our FC Cincinnati. Sorry, that's our soccer team. And then we have Skyline Chili, which is Cincinnati style chili.
And probably Geta. People would
Okay.
know Geta.
Oh yeah.
All right, you were starting to break up there, so I didn't hear that, but I'll find it in the recording. Hey, Yoko, what kind of coach is he?
Sean,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great coach. He is.
You don't have to say that because he's here, you know.
Oh, I know. But he has an attention to detail, you know, sees things that I would never even dream to see. And it's fascinating to watch. So I try to pay attention as much as I can. Like Cole's in camp right now, so I like to watch because it's rare that I get to just sit and watch somebody else go through a training camp.
Yeah.
So it's amazing for me to see the kind of detail needed to coach, and he's also someone that you can go to talk to. So it's not just, you know, anything that it's like physically taxing in training camp, but also the mental aspect. He has a lot of knowledge about too. He's like an encyclopedia.
Wow. Okay. Ron Kosakowski wants to know if it's hard for you to find fights at your weight class.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's hard, I think, as well in the lower weight class. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the most popular, the most dense weight class for women's MMA is 135 bantamweight. 115 is the bars. 105, which is atom weight, which is the weight below, has nearly no one in it. I mean, it's nearly impossible. It's much easier to get fights for male MMA fighters at this point, just because, you know, there's just not a lot of women fighters, especially on the region.
Yeah. So do you guys have to get involved with that whole weight cutting debacle that I hear about sometimes?
I do have to cut a little bit of weight.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to only cut a little bit of weight. You know, a lot of people can cut up to like 20 to 25 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it can be very unsafe. And, you know, I wrestled when I was a kid, and my brother wrestled all the way through high school, and he was Division I in high school. And I've seen kids like cut a lot of weight very unhealthily, and we try to avoid it as much as possible. But at this point, weight cutting is a necessary evil, because if you don't do it, if you don't actually cut weight, you're going to go in significantly smaller than the person you're fighting.
I see. In the pictures that I saw online for JKDU Cincinnati, it looks like it's a huge wrestling mat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So what, you know, I got to ask you that. Okay. So where is it? What is HITS Indoor Baseball and Sportsplex? What is that?
So that's the venue where Premier MMA hosts their MMA fights. So they like transform this indoor baseball field into like a giant event center. It's actually pretty impressive that they can do it.
Okay, I see. All right, is Jeet Kune Do Unlimited a full-time gig for you, Sean?
No, actually, I have another job. It was the only job that I had there for a while. I had UFC gym, and then the UFC gym unfortunately closed, and then I just did JKD for a long period of time. But you know, I'm actually a computer programmer too. I'm a software developer.
Oh, so well, that explains the attention to detail, right? But you said, Yoko, that he's somebody you can talk to. I didn't think computer nerds had, you know, that they were those kind of people.
He is.
I'm just out here breaking stereotypes. That's all.
Wow.
Don't put him in a
nerd a nerd with an emotional side. That's pretty cool.
I wouldn't say I'm emotional.
Okay. Listen, I have a question for you that a certain person who we shall not name but whose initials are BR. And I don't mean Bob Rust. Okay?
Who could that be?
All right. He didn't do a very good job of answering the question when I asked it to him, so I'll ask it to you. When you put the phrase "for the street" after the name of something, what does that do to it?
Well, what that does is, well, it makes it 10 times better. Maybe, and it makes it just more functional. Yeah, but seriously, I think with the For the Street moniker, I mean, I was attracted to the For the Street moniker when I was going to Burton's classes, you know. I think what it does is it shows this is MMA plus, you know, we're doing mixed martial arts, but we're doing mixed martial arts plus, and that plus in this case is JKD, and we're doing Jun Fan Gung Fu, we're doing some trapping, you know. I know some people think that we don't do trapping, but there are trapping. I'm a functional trapping instructor. And that's what I think the street kind of shows. It's not just for the sport. We're actually thinking about street self-defense. We're thinking about weapons defense, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yoko, do you have a favorite part of class?
Jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Sparring. Sparring's my favorite class.
Yeah. What's the fascination with jiu-jitsu? Like, what aspect of it?
How difficult it is, how challenging it was. It was, when I first started, I was honestly floored by how many different ways jiu-jitsu could go. Like, I knew about an arm bar, but there's a million setups. There's a million things that could happen in a roll. So once I got past, you know, feeling down about constantly getting smashed and just continuing to come, I was just really in love with how much it challenged me, and it made me better in not only on the mat but outside in life too, hopefully.
How long were you training before your first white belt competition?
I think maybe 6 months, maybe a little over 6 months. I think it was 6 months. I'm pretty sure.
And then whose idea was it to get into the competition? Yours?
I think the Naga was coming, and I don't know that it was my idea. I don't remember, actually.
I think it was my idea, because her initial thought, when the way we actually at the UFC gym met is, like, I heard someone kicking the bag, and she actually was doing, you know, the title boxing, and she was training a little bit of Muay Thai, and I heard her kicking the bag, and it was this big boom, boom, and I expected to walk and see like some huge dude kicking the bag, you know, and and then to my surprise,
there you go.
Yoko's kicking the bag, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's something here. I was like, you know, I'm the MMA coach here. Do you want to take the MMA class? You know, have you ever thought about competing? And she had already done like boxing and things like that. So that was her initial, you know, pull in. She wanted to compete. And I thought, if you compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament now, it's going to help me see how you act under pressure before someone's punching you in the face.
Okay. Yeah. So we hear a lot that word pressure, right? I mean, we were in class last night, and that's what Nick Faruqi was talking about and what have you. So what are your strategies for dealing with the different types of pressure? So we know about pressure in a training situation, we know about pressure in a fighting situation, but pressure as a reality of life.
How do I deal with it?
Yep.
I think that, well, he actually taught me how to deal with it a lot better.
Oh my gosh, credit to him again.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, I'm actually paying her for all of this.
Oh, okay. All right. Makes sense now.
Right below the camera line.
She's very smart.
But no, really, it was, I would get nervous. I've played sports my whole life, and I danced out for a majority of my life before I started competing in combat sports, and really kind of recognizing that pressure, that feeling that you get when you feel pressure, you feel those nerves. And recognizing that emotion and trying to think of it as maybe something else, or doing different things for yourself to kind of calm your mind, because that the feeling may not go away. So
Right.
trying to figure out a different way, or a different way to channel it was important, and made a huge difference for me, because I've always gotten nervous before any game, any performance, any show, anything like that. It's just how I was. But now I deal with it a lot better. I found different ways, whether it be breathing exercises to help calm my mind and my, my body,
Right.
learning how to channel it in a different way, recognizing that emotion differently has helped a great deal.
I think I put it on the ad for today's program. It's a classic black and white photo of you, right? And I thought maybe you were meditating or something, but then I noticed you were looking at your phone.
Oh, it was a breathing exercise. It was on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I was listening.
Okay.
I did look like meditating.
Yeah. Was that before a fight or something?
I do my breathing exercises a couple times before a fight. Anytime I start to feel the nerves come up again, I breathe, and it just, kind of centers me again. So it's helped a lot.
Okay. All right. So now here's one question that I know he cannot be the answer to the question. Who does your hair before fights?
Well, actually, no.
That's not Amber Brooks at Salon Loss in Westchester. She does great braids, guys.
All right. Okay. Shout out to her. I did want to ask you something, Sean, about the military experiences. And can you give me an example or a couple of military experiences that you took and turned into teaching lessons or coaching lessons for your students?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, it kind of could probably be a joke that I talk about it too much when I'm teaching class.
Uh-huh.
I reference the military a lot. I mean, a whole lot.
Yeah.
But, the main thing that I took from the military that I apply every day in class is small unit leadership, and things that you just learn in the Marine Corps. I mean, day one of boot camp, they start teaching you how to lead people and how to show people. And that starts with leading by example and showing them by actually doing it. I could say, you guys need to do this drill, or you need to do this sparring, or you need to go with someone who's actually going to challenge you, who's actually, something like that. But if I'm not doing it, noticeably doing it, then I'm not leading them by example. And that's like the main thing the Marine Corps gave me that I put into practice every day on the mat and in class and in my life, really.
Okay. Yoko, you don't have a military background too, do you?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Yoko, what's been your experience of the person whose initials are BR, who we shall not name?
I have had a lot of fun. I've only been able to be at 2 of his seminars, so I wish that, I could go to more and travel more,
Yeah.
but I have so much fun because the seminars are fun. We get to learn things that I feel like are really useful, because I walk around more than I'm fighting in a cage. It's usually a couple times a year, if that. So I feel like learning, how to be aware of what is useful for you in the street is important. So, but most of all, the seminars are fun. We learn so much. There's so much information, but it's just fun being around all these martial artists. Everybody enjoys learning all these techniques, and I just love it. He's great. He's so nice and so dangerous. It's so nice.
Yeah. Sean, did you ever think that he, because of the way his mind works, that he might have had some military discipline too?
He really does show that type of military discipline. You can see it, and man, I know you know him, but for those who don't, I mean, just the precision that he lives his life with, and the discipline his training and his eating and just everything. He's more disciplined than most of the Marines that I've known in my life. More disciplined than me, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Because when you were talking about the military experience, and I mean, that's reality, and I think that that's something that Bert has brought into the Jeet Kune Do world, and done so a lot better than many other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, a large amount of the JKD Unlimited people that I talk to have either ties to the military or a military background that I know of. A lot of the instructors do. I mean, there are, of course, a bunch of JKD Unlimited students.
Yeah.
A lot of the instructors tend to have a martial arts background or, ties to the martial arts in some way, Sorry to those.
Yoko, Yoko, can you think of something that you would rather be doing than what you're doing now?
No.
I didn't think so.
I would train all day, every day if I could.
Yeah. So then do you have an idea of what, I'll use the word perfect. Do you have an idea then of what your perfect life would look like?
Get up, eat, train, sleep, and dogs. I love dogs, so as long as they're good.
Okay. Are you ever going to become an instructor yourself?
I don't know. Right now, I've watched, Sean and the other instructors here, and teaching. There a lot comes with teaching. I feel like there's a lot of responsibility teaching martial arts, and everybody's so different, and everybody's bodies moves differently, and there's a way to teach because not everybody learns the same way either. I don't think I'm at a point just yet where I feel like I understand how to teach just yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Just full disclosure, though, she is the highest ranked non-instructor in my school. Though she's the closest to becoming an instructor by rank right now.
Okay. Do you have a fighting nickname? I didn't see anything. No, right?
Trying to give her
Constantly.
one, though. Every class he has a new one. None have stuck.
Yeah. The one fight that I watched, I am fairly sure that the announcer guy said that your fighting style is listed as Jeet Kune Do, correct?
Yes.
I am fairly sure he called it more of a traditional style.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear that part?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I think that was, I do remember hearing that at one point. I don't remember which fight it was at all.
What?
Yeah.
What?
First fight with Marina.
What do they mean by that?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of people that I've talked to, maybe outside of this, have and when they think of Jeet Kune Do, they think of more of a traditional martial arts. So it is fascinating sometimes to talk to different people when they ask me where I train or what I do, and they say, "Oh, Jeet Kune Do," the traditional style. They always reference, Wing Chun. Mm-hmm. And do those kind of hand movements. So I don't know if maybe that's kind of the direction or.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they just think it is Wing Chun instead of, I think the problem is, and one of the goals that I have as an MMA coach is to educate people about Jeet Kune Do, which is why I encourage them to list their style as JKD and list, the gym, JKD Unlimited. I thought of going with like an MMA style name for the team. I went back and forth on it, for marketing. And I thought, it's more important for me to show people that JKD is a functional martial art and it's a modern martial art it was made last century. I mean, how many say that are like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've seen Jesse James Kosakowski, right? You've seen his fights, right? Yeah. Okay, so then between those guys in Connecticut and you guys in Ohio and Kentucky, I think we've got a good start to put in Jeet Kune Do on the fight map for sure.
Absolutely, and if you think, there's coaches out there like Eric Paulson who's been coaching, and then Burton himself had coached Chris Lieben. JKD has always been in MMA, and it's like people don't realize it.
Right.
But all of these fighters they actually have this JKD background. And it's just unfortunate that, you know, the announcers are deep MMA fans. They know so much about mixed martial arts, and they don't realize the influence of JKD and that it's not a traditional martial art. It's a modern martial art.
So, so I think that's part of what Chris Kent calls the Jeet Kune Do identity crisis.
Oh yeah, interesting.
You know, yeah, where there's so much of a contribution that's been made, but people remain unaware of it. What are there particular aspects of Jeet Kune Do fighting principles that you've used that translate readily into training and getting people ready for fights, and then in the actual fights?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the game plans, I don't want to give away. I almost started to give away the game plan just now that we're using for our current one. There are parts of game plans that they're just taken straight from the pages of the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, and definitely taken straight from, you know, the DVDs and the seminars I've gone to with Burton Richardson, of course, because he's my instructor. But yeah, I mean, they use stop kicks. In her last fight, she actually was using the oblique kick, you know, which they call the cross stop in MMA. She was using the oblique kick often because she was going against a Muay Thai fighter, and we knew that we wanted to attack the legs to stop the mobility, but we knew that she would be very savvy to a low kick, a Thai kick to the lead leg. So, and Yoko and Cole both fight with their dominant hand forward, and that's not something that's really that JKD Unlimited people do very often, but you know, they both doing it because I just had the foundation in Junfan Gung Fu, you know, and JKD that I could give them the principles. Oh, this is how you would use that straight lead, or this is how you would step out and use your backhand and control the lead foot. So, you know, both of them took to that pretty well. So there's, I mean, I could go on for, I don't know if we have enough time to podcast for how much. It is the fighting style. It's what we do.
Yeah. Yoko, your Taekwondo training, that came out of the title gym, or was that separate?
No, that was actually, I think it was around the same time. But it was at a different gym. It was called Parks Taekwondo under Master Park.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was, I think I'd had a boxing match, and I'd always wanted to learn martial arts. So I decided to try Taekwondo, and I think, you know, I love the discipline, and I think it's a beautiful style. I love to kick. So, I mean, then I decided to try Muay Thai. So I just kind of, you know, took my time in trying to study different martial arts. And that's why I like JKD, because there's so many different styles that we get to study and apply and test.
What kind of dancing did you do?
So I did, I was a competitive dancer. So I did tap, jazz, hip hop, and ballet.
And you gave all that up for this stuff?
This is so much more fun. I still love dancing. I don't do it anymore, obviously, but but it helped with the kind of pressure in terms of performance, because I've been used to performing in front of big crowds, and so it helped in that aspect. But yeah, I love combat sports. I love to spar.
And you can always tell people, you know, well, Bruce Lee was the Hong Kong Cha-Cha champion.
I was just gonna say,
right?
I was just waiting to throw it in.
You can always say that. Sean, what about you and the perfect life? If you were living the perfect life, what would you be doing?
Yeah, it would sound very similar to hers. I mean, definitely, I would have to throw in spending a lot of time with my family as well. But yeah, if I could train all day, that would be awesome. If that was the way it is, and maybe someday it will be.
Yeah. Kevin Porter wants to know isn't dance technically integral to your fighting skills, Yoko?
Yeah, it actually helped with my footwork. So I never imagined that, but The way that I'm able to move on my feet, I think it gave me the quickness that I have. Because, you know, in dance with like jazz, we did a lot of where we were on our toes a lot. So,
Yeah.
you know, it helped with that footwork, you know, being able to kind of bounce back and forth really quickly and move around.
Do you guys have a lot of kids? Do you have a kids? I don't remember seeing a kids class. Do you have a kids class?
Yeah, I teach I teach kids classes on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. It's mostly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the kids at this point. But on Saturdays we do Kali and a little bit of Seal.
Okay, so Yoko, let me just warn you, right? That's how they try to get you to become an instructor, right? They go, oh, girls are usually better with kids. And yeah. So
I taught a kids class when he was out of town once, and one of the kids rear naked choked me. It was really tight.
Okay.
Arlo.
I'm trying to help you out here, right? I'm trying, but you just sunk your own ship. I guarantee you, within a year, you'll be teaching. Yep, within a year, you'll be teaching. But again, as people who are significantly younger than I am, do you think that martial art is the thing that all kids should be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know where I'd be if I didn't start doing martial arts. I really don't. And, you know, my son does martial arts, and I think it just builds a skill set for achieving goals and setting short-term goals, and then achieving those long-term goals based on those short-term goals. And you know, that's so obvious to us in the martial arts world, but on the outside, it may not seem that obvious. I wish martial arts was required in schools, honestly, or at least optional, like wrestling or you know, football. You know.
Yeah. What have you thought of that? I didn't hear you say that again.
I said they have weightlifting classes in school, so that would have been fun for me if they would have had, you know, the martial arts class here. You can do that instead of gym or weightlifting.
Yeah, yeah. I hear almost every week a ton of horror stories about what's going on in grade school. You know, here in Miami. Are you scared about what kids are being taught these days or not being taught?
Yeah, you know, I don't know enough about the curriculum to say what they're being taught, but I am concerned that they're not being taught to, you know, stand up for themselves or you know, those basic self-defense things. I mean, I remember in school we did do some sort of self-defense thing in grade school. We went to a seminar, or not a seminar, but what do you call it in school? An assembly.
Yeah.
It went to an assembly all about self-defense, and I've never heard of that ever since then. And you know, it was, you know, what you'd expect in like an assembly for self-defense, but I would love to see like functional self-defense being taught to kids, and you know, maybe they could get some credit for it, some gym credit or something like that.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the training for, you know, between class and competition and what have you, did you say something about like multiple opponents going at like one person? Did I
mention that? But we do train that. We did that.
We just said that. Yes.
Last week we were opponents. We have.
Do you remember the first time that they did that to you, Yoko?
Yeah, I was nervous. I said, "What?" He said, "It's a game. So everybody relax. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. The way we do it is progressive. You know, we start with just like a little kind of game of tag. You're just trying not to get surrounded. But we have it, as we would call it, Valley Tudo style, which means they could take you to the ground. They could throw punches. You can throw punches. Yeah, it's interesting. It's informative.
Have you developed any any of your own, like two things, combinations or training drills, Yoko?
I don't think I've developed my own combinations. No, I really like to stick to basics. I think that's what I've discovered is basics have always worked best for me.
Okay.
My own drills? No, I just do whatever drills he tells me to do, honestly.
No, because I was watching, was it something Nate? There's a video of you hitting the foot boxing, the focus mitts with, I didn't write his name down.
Oh, Daryl Tate?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Right.
Muay Thai.
So I was looking at the combination that you were doing, and I go, man, that doesn't look regular.
Yeah, so Tate's a great coach. He runs a Muay Thai program for a local school that's like, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes away.
Yes.
It's in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he actually has a Muay Baran background, so his combinations would look a little bit different than what we would be expecting if we came from like a Thai boxing association.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember what combination that was.
Yeah, I saw it and I just go, wow, this girl's got pretty unorthodox movement. It was quite cool. Yeah. So you said that, Yoko, you said you're going to take this as far as it will take you.
Yeah.
All right. When did you decide that? See, because I'm always interested, right? People who make decisions like that, like I always wonder if there was a particular turning point in their lives where they go, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is the thing that I'm going to dedicate myself to from now on.
It was probably right after my first fight was over. Immediately after I walked out of the octagon, I'd actually lost that fight.
Yeah.
And you train up until the fight actually happens, and it was my first fight, but you know, we'd been through camp and then the gym changed, and then when I actually got the fight, I said to myself, oh, this is really happening. I'm really going to do this. So it was really terrifying. You know, before my first fight, I was very scared. I think that that's natural to have happen before you're going to get inside and fight somebody. But after it was over, I realized how much I loved everything leading up to it. You know, how much work went into it. The weight cut, even though it was awful, you know, it was my first experience in cutting weight. I was mind blown. It was terrible, but yet I was like, it's still part of the whole process that I loved. I loved everything about it. You know, when the bell fought, even though I lost, I was so proud of getting in there. And I knew right after it was over, I was like, this is what I want to do. You know, I've never felt so many emotions and being able to test myself and kind of see what I'm made of. I was like, I was hooked. I think that's when I decided, I was like, this is it. This is happy.
So let's pretend that you volunteer to answer questions on one of these online forums. So somebody sends you a question and it says, how do I motivate myself to do the right things? What's your answer to that question?
How do I motivate myself? Well, the thing that I've learned about motivation is, you know, it's very easy to get motivated in the moment. You know, when you see something and you think to yourself, you know, that's what I want to do. That seems great. But the real hurdle is staying disciplined. So I would say you need to find what it is in that motivation, what really matters to you, and make sure that that's something you can commit yourself to, because motivation is really small. Everyone gets motivated at all different times, you know, in the day or, you know, in life, but it's staying committed and disciplined to what initially started that, or when you started that motivation.
So what what would you say is the trick then to staying motivated?
Being passionate about whatever it is that motivated you, like truly passionate about it.
Yeah.
I think being passionate about anything helps a person stay disciplined and continuing to come back.
Yeah. Again, you're digging your own proverbial grave because you got so much to offer. They're going to make you teach one day.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to tell you. I hate to tell you, but right. Yeah, see, here's what you didn't know. He and I set this up.
Oh, yeah. You're doing a great job, by the way. This is better than...
So Carla Arce, Carla's on every Friday when I do the show, and she works with Neil Colliff, my colleague in Coral Springs. Carla wants to know how do you stay passionate?
Great question. That's a great question.
I feel like it's not something that I have to put a lot of thought into. Honestly, I genuinely love martial arts, everything about, all the different arts that I've learned, that it's not even a second thought for me. I feel like it's just become nature. It's become part of who I am.
Yeah.
If I'm not training, I'm watching some sort of fight, or I'm watching like a tutorial, and I love it. So it's not something I have to put a whole lot of thought in. I love coming to class. I love, being around my teammates. I love, even if we were to do the same drill all week, I'd probably still like it. I'd probably still love being there. So it's not something I have to put a lot of thought into. I just do it and I love it.
Is there anybody, well, I doubt people in your martial art life think that you're weird, but is there anybody in your non-martial art life and they go, that Yoko, she's such a strange bird?
Literally everyone that I've met.
How do you deal with that?
I don't know. I think martial arts has given me confidence, like I said, to just express myself and be myself. And so I don't care if, what anyone really thinks of me, because I'm just happy to be
right.
here and to be able to, I'm happy that I get a chance to do something that I love, or that I found that, because I don't know that everybody has had a chance to do that, to find what they're really passionate about and being able to get up every day and do it. So I realize that I'm fortunate that I found something I love so much.
Yeah. Who's Cole Sutton?
Oh,
that's his
Cole,
girl.
The one who's fighting?
Yes.
Okay. You guys probably can't see. He said she's an odd one.
So is he.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody named Bob Russ says, yeah, she's weird.
I really am, though. So just
Well, now join the club. How did you hook up with this Bob Rust and this Greg Randall character, Sean?
Oh, yeah. Great question. So Bob and I trained at the Reed Academy before I ever went in the Marine Corps. So that was, I don't even know, I think it's been 14 years we've been training together. And I went to the Marine Corps. When I came back, I messaged him. I'm like, hey, Bob, I'm opening up my own school. What do you think? You want to train? And he's like, all right. First class we ever did was in his upstairs annex in his house. It was the first JKDUnlimited since. And then Greg Randall I've known since, I just don't even know, since I was a little kid, 13 or 14. And, what's so funny is he is the one that gave me the Tao of Jeet Kune Do the first time that I read it,
Wow.
Yeah, so,
wow.
So I guess I was like 13 when I read it. He gave it to me. He's like, hey, check this out. It's Bruce Lee. And I'm like, I love Bruce Lee. And I read the book. And so when I came back, he was living in California at the time. I was living in Hawaii. I came back to Cincinnati. He came back to Cincinnati at the same time. And he goes, hey, can I come train at your gym? And I said, yeah. So he was student number 2. And now they're instructors in the JKD Unlimited family. So
Yeah.
they're doing a great job. They run classes every week and knowledgeable. And they're always in the corner with me whenever we're cornering fighters and the whole thing. So glad to have them.
But they don't compete themselves, do they?
Bob, well, actually, both of them have competed in jiu-jitsu. Bob competes in jiu-jitsu pretty regularly.
Okay.
Greg has really taken to the instruction part, much like me. You know, I've done jiu-jitsu competitions and some of the like more military style competition things. They're not really competitions. They're just more like full go sparring deals. But you know, you can look at that on the internet. There's a bunch of Marine Corps things.
So apparently, Yoko, it's possible to be a competitor and an instructor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's scarred from having been choked out by a small child. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
It's gone really tight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, guys. It's been a real pleasure to make your acquaintance and to get to know you better. I want to wish you all the best in the future. Keep me posted on when the next fight comes up. You know, maybe we can come on again and talk about it after, because I did the same thing with Jesse and Ron. You know, we talked before his Bellator debut, and then we did kind of like our version of a fight breakdown. So I'd love to be able to do that for you someday.
I'm down.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds like a plan. All right. Before you go, who else should I try to get onto the program? Can you think of anybody?
Man, there's so many. I'm going to feel bad when I leave some of them out, but I think you should definitely talk to Augusto Baracco out in Italy, JKD Unlimited instructor, Luis Barneto, or Luis Barneto, sorry. My Portuguese is not very good.
I think I have a message in my queue from him, because Bert sent me his name.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're so knowledgeable. Scott Ishihara would be good too if he wants to. Sorry to call him out, Scott. Many. I mean, there's so many to list. Yeah, there's so. And also, just before we go, I just want to say thank you so much for letting us come on.
Yes, thank you for having
my pleasure.
us.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it, and thanks, of course, to Burton Richardson for connecting us.
Yeah.
He's done so much for me. I just can't thank him enough.
Yes, thank you.
He's one of my favorite people.
Mine too.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll definitely do this again. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
You.
Right, take care. Bye. All right. Now, see, I feel guilty. I have so much fun with my JKD colleagues. All right, so that was episode number 57 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Yoko Kowaas and Sean Sutton of Jeet Kune Do Unlimited in Cincinnati. Let's see. Next, okay, so next week we have maybe 2, maybe even 3 Jeet Kune Do Dialogue episodes going on. On Monday, April 8th, episode number 58 with Sifu Andy Kimura of the Junfan Gung Fu Institute in Seattle, right? Don't tell him I'm afraid to mess this one up, because he is like Jeet Kune Do royalty, right? And then on Wednesday, April 10th, Sifu Nick Faruqi will be back on. He was here with me in Miami last night, and he taught the class over at my place, and we had a really good time. And so he and I wanted to do a special dialogues episode about Jeet Kune Do, the teaching of Jeet Kune Do. And on April 12th, next Friday, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues will be continuing the JKD Femme Fatale series with Beverly Pratka out of Texas Jeet Kune Do Athletic Association. So I'll keep everybody posted on all of that. right? But, feel free to share and like and comment. Ask me questions. I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook and when we post the final edits on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you back here on Monday. Monday with Sifu Andy, I think will be, let me get it right, will be 2 p.m. Eastern time. If any of you guys are free to watch that. But I'll post everything and send out the promos for them. All right, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy your weekend. I'll see you soon. Take care.